Good morning. Good morning. We are live here on Tuesday, May 25th. Today we're going to be talking about building habits. It's going to be a 5-day workshop from today, Tuesday to Saturday, on how to build better habits and how to get your habits to stick. So we'll be talking about that this morning. Hopefully we don't have any microphone issues today because we did have a little bit of microphone issues yesterday. So everything's all good. Let's get to the video. Good morning. Good morning. I'm the Sober Life Coach AC. We are live on my personal Facebook page. We're live in the Dare to Be Sober Facebook group, and we're also live on my YouTube channel. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel if you want more videos like this. You can join our Dare to Be Sober Facebook group, which is 200 people going strong. And also you can join me on my personal Facebook page. You can just find me at AC Osberg. Today we're going to be talking about habits, okay? Creating habits that stick. So what are habits and how do they work? So that's what we're going to be talking about today. Just a medical warning: if you cannot go more than 1 to 2 hours without a drink, quitting can be dangerous. If you are having withdrawal symptoms, extreme sickness, those kind of things, you may want to seek medical attention. It can be dangerous to quit. There's a difference between an alcoholic and a problem drinker. A problem drinker is someone who is psychologically addicted to alcohol. An alcoholic actually has physical addiction in the brain. Things have changed around quite a bit, and they're drinking quite heavily. So if you are one of those people that think you may need to seek medical attention, please seek medical attention, because this is not medical advice. But if you just think you have a problem with drinking like I did, and you think you can turn that around, you're definitely in the right place. So we're going to talk about a concept called atomic habits. James Clear wrote a book called Atomic Habits, and I thought that was really a kind of a cool concept, and I wanted to share it with you guys. So what is an atomic habit? Well, atomic habit is a regular practice or routine that is not only small and easy, but is also a source of incredible power, a component of the system of compound growth. Okay, bad habits repeat themselves again and again, not because you don't want to change, but because you have the wrong system for change. And I definitely understand this now that I have a really good morning routine. I'm still working on it. I'm still tweaking it. You can always get better at your morning routines, but I do have a pretty solid morning routine now. I wake up, I'm not journaling yet, but it's one of those things I have to add into it. But I wake up, I listen to something motivational in the morning. I do a little bit of exercise, and I meditate, and I shower, I get dressed, I do these lives, and then, continue on with my day. So those are those small little atomic habits that compound over time. And if you don't take control of those habits, your subconscious habits, those things that you've been doing for a long time, just kind of seep in, and they're created anyways. And those bad habits are the ones that also compound over time. And those are small little tiny habits that you're doing that put you in the wrong direction. You want to be going in the right direction of habits, not the wrong one. So it's not so much, it is about setting goals, and setting goals is super important, but it's also about setting systems in place to reach those goals. What kind of habits are you going to have when you go into reaching those goals? So that is what an atomic habit is. It's just a small, tiny little practice or routine that you can build easily, and also it's incredibly powerful and a component of a system of compound growth. Compound growth is one of those things that you don't see things growing at first, but they exponentially start compounding over time, and eventually you'll have a snowball effect, and you'll have a great, fantastic life with these tiny little habits that you didn't really see change at first, but definitely it's like, think about your fitness. And when you go to the gym for the first time, you're not going to, have six-pack abs right away, right? You don't expect to have six-pack abs right away. You're going to have to eat healthy. You're going to have to continue to go to the gym. You know that it's going to take a month, 2 months, 3 months, maybe even a year to get where you want to go. And that's the same with any sort of habit, right? That's why you have these atomic habits. So tiny little habits that cause big change. So how do habits work? Well, you might know this, might not, but it's something called a habit loop, okay? All your habits are driven by the same simple loop, and this habit loop has 3 elements. It's got the trigger, the routine, and the reward. The trigger is the cue that starts off your habit. For example, hunger is the trigger to eat. Okay, eating is the result of the routine, and the reward is that you feel full and have energy to continue with your day. All habits work like this, and this knowledge is going to be powerful for you going forward. So with alcohol, you have the trigger to drink, which can be plenty of things: environment, stress, anxiety, those things that you see alcohol giving you a benefit to. Then you have the routine of drinking. You have the routine of getting up, getting the drink, opening it up, those kinds of things. And then you have the reward of taking that first drink, which does give you a little bit of euphoric boost right at the beginning, but we all know that's a lie, because that boost actually goes away over time. If you know how alcohol works in the brain, you know that that is a lie, because it increases your stress, increases your anxiety, and it just numbs you to the fact that you need that, to the fact that you have these things in the first place, but it actually is increasing your anxiety and things like that. So definitely important to know the habit loop. So yeah, so it's just trigger, routine, and reward. That's kind of how it works. So like, if when you get hungry, you eat, and then you have the energy and you feel full. So all your habits are driven by these loops. Okay. So that's why goals are great, but habits are better. When you set it to become alcohol free, you set it on the attention. We set what we want. We can even do smart goals. Like, we set a date, we figure out how we're going to measure it. We ask ourselves if we can actually achieve it. Then we set off to get that goal. But why do we fail? Well, we need to figure out a system to achieve that goal. Before I quit drinking, I drank for 19 years, and I know definitely that lots of times I woke up hungover, anxious, wondering what I did last night, blacked out, just wondering what the hell did I say? Why are people angry at me? Blah blah blah. All those anxiety and all those things that come with drinking and waking up hungover and anxious. And I would say, I'm going to quit drinking. I'm going to quit drinking. And I didn't have a plan in place. All I knew was, I'm just going to white knuckle it. I'm going to use willpower, and I'm going to quit drinking. And guess what? Willpower doesn't work, because willpower is finite. Willpower is only there for a certain amount of time, and your willpower is, it's kind of depleted. Think of it as like, if you ever played a video game, you have the full health bar. It just keeps going down and down and down as you have to make more decisions, as you have to do more things in life. Your willpower is depleted. So by the end of the day, when you get home and you're saying, I'm not going to drink, I'm not going to drink, I'm not going to drink, and you don't have those habits in place, what happens is you end up caving in, because your willpower has been depleted. So we need some sort of a system to achieve these goals, some sort of habits, these atomic habits, those little tiny habits to achieve our goals. Does that make sense? Hopefully that makes sense for you guys. So yeah, success is the product of our daily actions. So what we do on a daily basis may not seem important, but those daily habits are the building blocks of our lives. If you have a messy room, that's an accumulation of your habit of not cleaning. I'm kind of guilty of this in my car, sometimes in my own bedroom. I know that it can get a little bit messy if you don't actually have a habit of picking your clothes up off the floor, putting them in the laundry. I used to not have a habit of doing the dishes. I hated doing the dishes. I think it was maybe one of those subconscious things from as a child. You get punished if you do the dishes. It was one of those things that I hated doing, absolutely hated doing it. But I took control of that. And now I can't stand a messy kitchen. I can't stand having dishes in the sink. I can't stand that, because I've created that habit. And at first it was hard. It was kind of crappy. It was one of those things that, I had to force myself to do it. But once I forced myself to do it, and I built those habits over time, they stick with you and they compound. Now that has become my identity. That's become who I am. I have a clean kitchen, because I need a clean kitchen, because if I don't have a clean kitchen, then I can't make healthy meals and all this sorts of stuff. So if you have a messy room, you just remember that messy room didn't happen overnight. It's an accumulation of your habits of not cleaning. Your drinking habit didn't happen overnight. It's an accumulation of you starting to deal with stress with alcohol. You're starting to relieve your anxiety with alcohol. You started to drink alcohol to relieve your social anxiety. Whatever kind of benefit you think alcohol is giving, you started doing that, and that gets neurologically put into your brain. And those neurological pathways start building over time, and so the trigger sets off, and then the reward sets off, and then the trigger, and then the the action, and then the reward sets off with the drinking. So those habits are definitely set out over time. So just remember that. And one of these things that I've learned over the past almost 3 years of being alcohol free is discipline will equal freedom. Our brains are wired to create habits. Okay, habits, they happen if you like them or not. They're locked into your subconscious mind. And we think we're not adhering to a schedule or having a set of habits, not having a set of habits that we feel restrictive. We can escape the restriction, but guess what? You can't escape it, because you're being controlled if you like it or not. Your subconscious habits are controlling you in one direction or another. So you can either have control over it your subconscious and these tiny little habits every day. You can have control over them, or someone else will control them for you. And it might not even be any. You might not even have any say in it, because it might have been programmed into you as a child. It might have been programmed into you from marketing. It might have been programmed into you from wherever you got it from. It got stuck into your subconscious mind. And now you have this habit of continuing these things. And habits are, they're those things that you need to have control over. So it's either you set these tiny atomic habits in your life, or these tiny habits that you have already are going to set where you want to go. So where do you want to be in life? Do you want to be a non-drinker? Do you want to have a successful life? Then you need to learn how to set these tiny little habits. So that is that. Okay. So you have a certain way of the way you get to your bad habits. Most people have a certain way they fit into a bad habit. For example, drinking. There is a set routine I had with the drinking. For example, I would drive on my way to work. I would drive by the liquor store. I would wait for the kids to go to sleep, get the shot glasses, the beer glasses, set them on a tray, take them to our room where we were drinking. And this started to happen every night, and I was unconscious to that. So there's a process to your drinking. There's a process to any habit you have, and once you start looking at that and being aware of that, you can really start to be aware of where you can interrupt these patterns. Okay, so what processes do you have when you are drinking? Like what kind of things would you say is a definite routine for you when you drink? Do you get home from work, sit in a certain chair, go to the fridge, get a certain bottle of wine, come to the couch, sit down, turn on the TV? All these things are a habit, a routine that we've created, that we have we have control over it, but not consciously. But once you start being consciously aware of it, then you can interrupt the pattern, and then you can do that. Even with craving control, if I sat in this chair every day and I had a beer, if I was getting a craving, maybe I'm being triggered by this chair. Maybe I'm being triggered by someone in my environment. Maybe I'm being triggered by a certain song or a certain thing in my environment. Those triggers will set in the routine, and then you will get the reward of drinking, which isn't a reward at all, because we all know that's a lie. But that's how your habits are created. So yeah, I would just stop by the liquor store, wait for the kids to go to sleep, get all my stuff together, and this happened every night. So you can stop the process by being aware of it. Each step of the process is unconscious until you start to look and think. Ask yourself, what am I actually doing? Because the autopilot turns off, and you can start to interrupt the pattern. So what happens is, if you think about it, and Simon Chappell talks about this in his book and some of his YouTube videos too. He calls it the sober train, right? Where you have every time you get up to go on this, you stop at a station. Every time you're going into the process of drinking, right? You get up. That's one station. You have an option to get off. You go to the fridge. That's another station. You have an option to get off. You pick up the alcohol. Now you have an option to get off. You sit down. You have an option to get off. You start drinking. You have an option to get off. So if you're aware of every step of the process, you can do pattern interrupts, like do something completely different. If you get up, maybe get up and go for a walk, or maybe get up and get on Facebook and comment on somebody's Facebook post, or watch a YouTube video, or do something different. Go to a completely different room. All these things are going to break those habits and those neurological pathways, and over time, those tiny little atomic habits that we have are going to definitely be helping us get where we need to go. So if you find yourself, start to be aware of how your habits are set up today. Okay, if you find yourself starting to think of drinking today, ask yourself, what triggered that? Something in my environment? Was it a certain person? Was it a certain feeling like stress, anxiety? There's HALT, which is hungry, angry, lonely, and tired. Is there one of those things that's triggering me? Was it a person that's triggering me today? Was it a place, a thing? Can I break that pattern by going to another room? Can I break that pattern by doing something completely different today? Can I break that pattern by, just doing something completely different, other than what the routine is that you have been doing for this whole time? Because once you know that habit loop of trigger, routine, and then reward, you'll be able to break that pattern, and you'll be able to see the things in your life that are setting you off to have cravings, the things in your life that are setting you off to to drink, those things in your life that are setting you off. And then in the next couple videos, we'll be teaching you how to set up a proper environment, how to motivate yourself to take action on positive goals, not negative ones. All these things are coming up in the next week or so. But right now, I just want you to think about, if you have a craving today, what triggered that craving? What exactly was it? Because, and write those things down. It's important to have a journal or some sort of something to write those things down, just to be more aware of your thoughts and your feelings and your actions and what's actually going on around you. Because once you're aware of these things, then you'll be able to create better habits, the small 1% habits or atomic habits that will be able to take you to the next level in your life. So that's all I have for you guys today. That's day number one. It's all about just understanding what a habit is, the trigger, the routine, the reward, and how it neurologically, it's so you drink, and that is neurologically getting put into your brain as a reward. This is the thing that makes me feel better. This is the thing that helps me deal with this certain stress or anxiety. This is the thing. So your brain is going to seek out that habit because it wants to feel good. It wants to feel better. It wants to feel relaxed. And there's plenty of other things you can put in your silver toolbox to deal with that. But those are habits that you need to put into your life. So anyways, guys, that is day number one. I hope you got a little bit of, motivation and a little bit of knowledge out of this. You might already know this, but if you don't know how a habit is, then a nice presentation. Thank you. So if you don't know what a habit is, then, I hope that helped you guys out today. Tomorrow we'll be talking about the first set of the habit, which is the trigger or the cue, and how to, set that up so you can have a very good positive habits building up in the future. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for tuning in and today, and we will see you guys tomorrow for another broadcast. And I do have a coaching program one-to-one if you have one a little bit more help with this, starting on June 7th. If you're interested, just DM me, or I will leave a link to my calendar and we can have a quick chat to see if the program's right for you. It starts June 7th. Anyways, guys, have yourselves a meaningful day. I will see you guys tomorrow with another video, creating habits that stick. We're going to talk about the trigger or the cue.